Hello and welcome to this special live broadcast of Truth versus Hype, trying to make sense of the government's tax maze. Now, confronted with more and more evidence that demonetization may have dented the economy, from a big drop in the RBI's dividend or profit to the government, to reports suggesting post-Notebandi job losses, the government has put out a confusing jumble of numbers to show that demonetization has actually led to a surge in India's tax base. The Prime Minister in his Independence Day speech says that 56 lakh people filed personal income tax returns after Notebandi, a big jump from the same period last year. The latest economic survey says 5.4 lakh new taxpayers after Notebandi. An earlier release says 41% increase in advance tax collections. The Finance Minister suggesting 91 lakh new taxpayers were added as a result of demonetization. 56 lakhs, 5.4 lakhs, 91 lakhs. What's the correct number? What sense do we make of it? The government, to clarify, has issued a fresh release basically saying that these numbers are accurate but have been arrived at by slicing different data sets at different time periods. So what we're going to try to do tonight is to not look at this selective slicing of data and take a longer view to see if indeed Notebandi has produced some kind of tax revolution, or has it actually hurt the economy? Let's look at those claims closely to see if they measure up. Starting with the Prime Minister's claim that returns filed by individuals is up 56 lakhs. In other words, from 2.23 crores last year to 2.8 crores, a rise of 25%. Now, if you look at previous years, for the entire year in the same category, this is what you get. Those numbers are up on the screen. 3.21 crores in FY 2015, 15% up from the previous year. In 2016, it goes to 4.1 crore, up 27%. So even in the year or even before Notebandi, it's gone up to 27%. And then in the last financial year, it's 4.88 crores, up 19% if you take the whole year. So again, nothing to suggest that there's been a massive jump due to demonetization. So in 2016, like I said, before the Notebandi, there's a 27% increase and no indication that this is Notebandi linked. Now, if you look at now the overall tax returns, not just the individual ones that the Prime Minister mentioned, once again, no proof of a Notebandi surge. Just look at that graph. In fact, it climbs to nearly 40%, ironically, in the UPA years and dips in the initial NDA years before again picking up. Let's now look at the next claim by the economic survey that about 5.4 lakh additional taxpayers were added post demonetization, which the survey says might not have happened otherwise.
On the income tax side, we see something like 5 or more lakh new individual income taxpayers after demonetization.
Okay, now this is an increase of 45% over the same period in the previous year. But is 5.4 lakhs significant enough to register a big jump in the overall number of taxpayers? No, says the economic survey itself, claiming that it just amounts to a very small fraction of new taxpayers, just 1%. So let's look at the overall data of new taxpayers. And again, the numbers do not suggest any big jump. 76 lakhs added in 14-15, and then subsequent to that 63 lakhs added in 15-16, and then 80.7 lakhs added in 16-17. So again, showing more a steady increase and nothing to suggest a big boost because of Notebandi. Now let's move to the Finance Minister's claim of 91 lakh taxpayers added to the tax net. It was a suggestion that it was due to demonetization. We had debunked that claim when he had spoken about it last May, showing that it was for the whole year 2016-17, not just after demonetization. The latest government release accepts this, but the economic survey shows a different number for the same period, as we just saw. The Eco survey says 80.7 lakh new taxpayers were added in 16-17. And the Finance Minister, of course, saying that it's 91 lakhs. Now, the release says that the economic survey data is for a different period and a different type of taxpayer, but we actually have got the printout from the economic survey, and it doesn't appear to be that different. It just says that this is 80.7 lakhs are new taxpayers. So who's right? The Finance Ministry, the Economic Survey? We simply don't know. And finally, let's look at the claim of an earlier government release showing an increase in advance tax collections. Again, this is a surprising data point to make much of. A more substantial way of looking at an impact on tax collection would be to look at the total direct taxes, which also include advance taxes. A jump in advance tax collection does not necessarily translate into an equivalent jump for the figure for direct taxes. So why would the IT department only cherry-pick advance tax for an unspecified period? Well, the answer may lie in the data for direct taxes, which shows a steady year-on-year growth since 2011 to 2012. And once again, it's interesting to see that the numbers actually dip once the NDA comes to power in those 2 years, 15 and 16, and then start picking up. So once again, nothing to suggest that there has been any kind of surge thanks to demonetization. Well, joining me tonight to debate this, Sunil Alag, independent marketing consultant and member of FICCI, Dr. Abhishek Singhvi, Rajya Sabha MP of the Congress, Mahesh Vyas, Managing Director and CEO of the Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, and N.K. Venu, Senior Journalist and one of the editors at The Wire. Sunil Alag, if I can begin by asking you, all governments slice and dice data to make the numbers look better, but this is something else altogether.
No, as far as I'm concerned, whether it's 81 lakhs or 91 lakhs doesn't make any difference. I mean, if you're looking at that figure, the percentages don't matter to me, because if the base is increasing, then the absolute numbers become important. 20% over a base of 100 is 20, 20% over a base of 1,000 becomes something else. So right. As far as I'm concerned, you have to look at not whether it's 81 or 91 lakhs, and I think we should ask the government to give a clear picture and a clear figure. I agree with you on that there should be a clear figure and there should be contradiction on figures.
No, but to the wider point,
the impact of demonetization, one second, can I just finish? Impact of
No, I'm saying that the wider point.
Go ahead. What is the wider point you want to state? Yeah.
I'm saying that to the wider point that the government is making when putting out these figures is to show that there's actually been some kind of big boost in India's tax base or tax collection because of demonetization. But as all the data suggests, and you know, we've just run through all of it, there's no such great increase or surge. This is just the natural steady growth of India's tax base.
See, look, as far as all the regular taxpayers of higher income brackets were before the demonetization and after the demonetization is not going to change. It's the basic base below which was not paying taxes which will be required to look at. As far as I'm concerned, I don't have the data with me. So let's not look at all the big guys who are paying taxes. I'm one of them who was already paying taxes before demonetization, and I continue to pay it. So we have to be excluded from that figure, and you have to look at, is there an increase of non-tax paying people, one second, of non-tax paying people earlier who've started filing returns. And that's the figure that I would like to look at to evaluate whether demonetization has worked or not.
Well,
you really want to slice figures, then that should be the real figure to look at.
Okay, but
look, how many new taxpayers has come in, you know?
Yeah, but
we never paid taxes in their life before.
But we put that figure out, and Abhishek Singhvi come in on this. We put out the figure of new taxpayers because that's the number the government keeps citing, and the addition of new taxpayers, Abhishek Singhvi, from 76 lakhs in 2014 to 63 lakhs in 2015 to 80 lakhs in 2016 does not seem to suggest that there's been any great increase. It just shows a steady growth.
Srinivasan, let's just leave the minutiae out for a moment.
Yes.
The point is not about the minutiae. There is a larger point here, and then I will come to the minutiae in a minute. Give me just a couple of minutes. You see, the problem is that this government and this Prime Minister, and I actually have openly commended that we have one of the most remarkably very successful orator, Prime Minister, in decades. One of the greatest orators I've heard. And he has this mesmerizing effect. But unfortunately, they tend to end up being mood makers, environment makers, ambience generators. And when you just sit back, because ultimately logic and hard cold fact wins over ambience making. The drum beating is mesmerizing, is hypnotic, doesn't last long enough. I have 3 plain vanilla figures for you, and I'm just a coincidence that you say that somebody from CMI is sitting there.
Yes.
I was astonished. The Prime Minister, number 1, and this is not your figure, Vasu, has repeatedly said, and he said it on Independence Day, farm incomes will double in 5 years from now. Ashutosh Varshney, who is a very, very objective, clinical, sometimes a number cruncher, wrote an article just 2 days ago, I saw by chance. He simply points out that a 5-year doubling of farm income means a rate of growth of agriculture of 14%. He then points out that nowhere in the world has ever agriculture grown by 14% unless you have no agriculture at all before you start your country. And in India it has normally grown at 3 to 4%. One sec. And along with that, the CMI has pointed out post demonetization a very startling figure. I hope it is wrong. 15 lakh, that is 1.5 million jobs lost from January to April 2017.
Yes, in fact,
a direct post and a labor participation rate falling from 47 to 44%.
Okay, can I just get
these
Mahesh
are
Vyas?
directly contrary. Just half a second.
Yeah.
Directly contrary to what I've heard the Prime Minister saying. The other day he said, दलालों को हमने बेरोजगार कर दिया है. बेरोजगारी वैसे नहीं बढ़ी है, बेरोजगारी नहीं है. दलालों की बेरोजगारी बंद हो गई है. Now this is a great mood creator.
Okay, let's get Mahesh Vyas. Let's get Mahesh Vyas in.
15 lakh people have lost jobs.
Okay, let's put that graphic
In 4
up.
months.
Let's put that CMI graphics up and let's get Mahesh Vyas to comment on that, because Mahesh Vyas, you are saying quite clearly that the fact that there's been this 1.5 million jobs lost, the labor rate has fallen from 47% to 44%. You're saying that this is actually suggesting that there has been an economic slowdown linked possibly to demonetization, and as far as I know, the government hasn't challenged these figures. They keep coming out with releases to challenge other data, but not this one.
Okay, so let me temper that a little bit. What I'm saying is that the number of people employed fell in Jan-April 2017 compared to September-December 2016.
Right.
This fall was of 1.5 million people. But what I want to temper over here is that September-December is a busy season.
Okay.
This is when employment is likely to be very high because seasonally you will have people working on the farms for the harvest season, and it's also a festival season.
Right.
So there will be a lot more employment around then. Jan-April in contrast is a slow season. So I think that a part of the fall in employment is seasonal. And we don't have long time series data to be able to say how much is seasonal and how much is demonetization effect. But the second piece of data that was pointed out, that is the fall in the labor participation rate, that seems to be an impact of demonetization. So when you look at the monthly labor participation rates, we have seen a sharp fall since November. So I think labor participation rate is a bigger problem.
Okay, MK Venu, one of the things about all of this is that I find in some ways that social media, digital media is doing a better job of fact-checking these sorts of government claims, particularly with all this jumble of math that we've got on the tax figures. I mean, you yourself carry pieces by James Wilson, this guy who sits on Twitter and literally debunks all these conflicting numbers. But honestly, have you as a financial journalist for so many years ever seen anything like this?
Like
these sorts of, that you have one number from the finance minister, one number from the prime minister, one number from the economic survey, and then multiple releases by the PIB. I mean, I'm holding release after release here, trying to kind of clarify and justify these numbers.
To tell you the truth, Srinivasan, I have not come across such multiple versions coming from the government, some from the prime minister, one from the minister. So finally, even I was actually talking to my team, telling them, now who should we believe? I spoke to many experts.
Right.
So finally I came to the conclusion that the person that one should believe is Dr. Arvind Subramanian, because he has his research team and he uses data which his research team gives.
Right.
And he has said that 5.4 lakh people fresh taxpayers. I think that in my view should be taken as the accurate figure, not 56 lakhs that PM has said, or not 91 lakhs that Arun Jaitley has said.
Right.
Now,
But the bigger point
what worries me is, why is the government not taking researched facts from Arvind Subramaniam's team? Because his finance ministry,
Right.
he heads up the finance ministry research team.
Now, the great irony is not only are they not picking up that data, but they, in their press release, actually appear to be discrediting that data.
I'll give you another.
They are actually saying, don't look at the financial, the economic survey data. It's looking at a different kind of data. Look at the 91 lakh figure. Don't look at the figure he's put out.
Yeah, and I'll give you, Srinath, one more fact. For the first time since independence, a tax was named after the Prime Minister. So far, we've had Prime Minister's expenditure
Yes.
named after Prime Minister, right?
Yeah.
Various schemes, roads, this, that, and the other.
Right.
Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan says, for the first time, tax was named after in an income declaration scheme.
Right.
And what is the outcome of that? About 6,000 crore.
Yes.
Total declaration. I think that should, by any yardstick, should be considered a big failure. It's not a success.
Okay, let me just bring in Sunil Alag once again. Sunil Alag, the wider point here is, again, moving away from the minutiae, that isn't this now becoming a case where it does appear that demonetization has, if not triggered, at least contributed to a slowing economy, and the government is simply attempting to massage the numbers to try and spin that differently?
You know, I don't think there's any denying of, and no economist will deny that we've lost about 1% in GDP growth because of demonetization. There's absolutely no question of denying that. But the point remains that your 1%, which has taken place between November and say Jan or Feb of 17, the impact of that in 17 and 18 is what we have to see. If we are going to debate 3 months in the life of a country, it means nothing. You know, the Prime Minister, what is the impact of demonetization that we're looking at? I think it was CNBC that was putting out figures that there should have been about 18 lakh crores in circulation.
Yes.
And 15 lakh crores have been collected. So according to them, 3 lakh crores have gone out of the system, which is very good. So if you want to look at the bigger picture of what demonetization has done, is that most of the currency has come into the banking system. May I just finish?
I just want to correct you
okay,
there.
go ahead and say
incorrect. That's
what is wrong,
incorrect.
because CNBC has said.
No, that's not correct. That's not correct.
Why? Why would you say
I'll tell
that?
you the problem with that. I'll tell you the problem.
I'll give you the basis on which CNBC has done it.
No, Sunil Alag, I think what has happened is that they've calculated.
Maybe they're wrong. I'm not saying they're right, huh?
No, I'm saying there's a distinction between the entire currency in circulation
and what was
actually demonetized. So the 18 lakh crore includes currency which was not demonetized.
Yeah.
Of the demonetized currency, almost all of it, we don't know for a fact, but almost all of it has come back, which is why the RBI's dividend has also halved. That's also analysis which CNBC has done, by the way. That's because of the excessive cost of interest that the RBI has to pay to banks. So I think that 18 lakh crore is incorrect.
Let's go back into why did the Prime Minister go in for demonetization? Has he achieved the objective or not? That's the question which should be debated. I don't think he said GDP growth is going to go up because of demonetization. At no stage he said that. So what he was saying was that I've got to bring in, reduce the amount of money that is going to terrorists. I've got to bring in anything which is false notes or bogus notes which is in circulation.
Right.
And I'd like to bring in all the money that is so far not with the banks to bring it in. Now, on which points has he been successful and on which point has he failed? Otherwise, we'll carry on debating. I agree that the figure should be just one, and I'll agree with
let me just bring in
Venu that it
Singhvi.
should be Arvind Subramaniam's figures that we look at. But let's look at what was the objective.
Okay, Abhishek Singhvi, come in here. If we look at all those parameters, if we look at, for example, the amount of supposed fake currency that was wiped out by the government's own data, the amount of fake currency is 0.0, I mean, we're talking now literally going into decimals, 0.0023% of the total amount that was demonetized.
No, Vasu.
As far as black money is concerned,
it's much worse than that.
the amount that was seized or as undisclosed income is again a fraction of the total amount demonetized. So it's unclear what the benefits have been.
Let's get very clear now.
It's not just black money, it's
There are
the
two
money that
issues.
comes into the banking
Can I
system.
just-
we got to look at that. Huh?
But
Can I just-
80% has gone
Can I
back
just
into the...
now?
Yeah, go ahead, Abhishek.
Vasu. There are two issues: demonetization and other fudging or massaging of figures. Now, number one, and I'll be very pointed. As far as demonetization is concerned, I have repeatedly said that a bad economic decision never gets validated by a successful political hustling success at UP. A bad decision remains a bad decision, and that is what you are seeing now. It's like a very fast-moving train. If you put the brakes, it will go and stop after a kilometer. So the post-kilometer stoppage effects we are seeing now. Number two, actually, it is more tragic than you might think.
Right.
As far as black money is concerned or eliminating money is concerned, roughly, remember, we are repeatedly told that the RBI is counting. Why are we told that? Because that is where the concealment is.
Yes.
The possible estimates are that 18 lakhs is the total, 2 or 3 lakhs were not demonetized, all the balance 15 or 15 and a half lakhs has come back,
Yeah.
or almost all, which means
Abhishek.
it's a huge failure
Okay.
as far as eliminating money is
Okay,
concerned.
Abhishek,
Number three,
quickly,
there is
quickly,
no
we're out of
evidence, there is no evidence that there is any reduction in counterfeiting or in terrorism because
Right.
of demonetization. Not a single shred of
Okay, we'll have to-
statistical evidence.
Okay,
Terrorists
we'll-
are otherwise eliminated, but not black
Okay,
money
we'll have to-
because of demonetization.
Okay, we'll have to leave it there. Like I said at the outset, regardless of the debates on the merits or not of demonetization, it is this constant fudging of data, it is the constant moving of goalposts, it is the cherry picking of data at the highest level, which should be a cause for concern for India, which otherwise has a very strong tradition of reliable government-backed economic statistics.
Fake
We'll
news to fake data.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thanks for watching Truth versus Hype. Good night.
The next gen Verna bookings open.
No starter, no choke, no flicker. It's time to switch to Orient LED batten. Orient Electric. Switch to smart.
है तैयार हम जज्बे के पहियों पर अनजान सफर के लिए है तैयार हम पन्ने पलट के तकदीर पलटने के लिए है तैयार हम तैयारी अगर सही हो तो सब कुछ मुमकिन है एक ऐसी ही तैयारी है SBI लाइफ संपूर्ण कैंसर सुरक्षा जो आर्थिक रूप से आपको तैयार रखे ताकि आप कैंसर को हरा सके SBI लाइफ संपूर्ण कैंसर सुरक्षा है तैयार हम
1000 GB data, 200 Mbps speed, all fiber technology. Hathway, speed so high, everything will fly.
Get 6% interest on your savings account. And the ease of opening an account from home. Bandhan Bank, आपका भला, सबकी भलाई.
आखिर में ये छोटे सटीक सुधार ही बड़ा असर दिखाते हैं। इसलिए मैं सिर्फ एक्सपर्ट्स पर विश्वास करता हूँ।
हर 5000 किलोमीटर पर MRF टायर्स एंड सर्विस आइए। हमारे एक्सपर्ट्स आपके टायर्स की बैलेंसिंग और अलाइनमेंट की जांच करेंगे ताकि आपका हर सफर हो सुहाना।
क्योंकि ये छोटी चीजें ही तो मायने रखती हैं।
MRF टायर्स एंड सर्विस, the experts in complete tire care.
Suspected gas leak? A cell phone call can cause a fire.
Did you know that safety is actually a science? Safety science includes each and every way of preventing and reducing accidents in any situation and at all times. And you too can be safety smart by taking part in India's biggest safety science quiz 2017.
Are you ready?
Yes.
UL and Ndtv present the second season of India's only quiz that tests your safety quotient. Register now and you can win exciting prizes.
Do your part, be safety smart. To know more and to participate, log on to www.ndtv.com.